Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Alexander, Sempra Energy's Senior Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Chief Sustainability Officer. And I couldn't be more pleased to be joined today by Sempra Energy Group President Kevin Sagara to discuss Earth Day and our continued commitment to building a sustainable future. Kevin, when you think about Earth Day, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, thanks for that, Lisa. Well, I remember the very first Earth Day, and that was way back in 1970. And it kind of struck a chord deep within me around the idea of protecting the environment, protecting nature. I remember thinking to myself, like, this makes total sense. You can't just be out there, polluting the air, the oceans, the water, the rivers, the lakes, all these places, and think that, we can survive and think that nature can survive. And so from that point on, I really developed a passion for protecting and preserving our natural environment. And I'm really thankful to be able to work at a company like Sempra and our operating companies where being good environmental stewards is a core value. So from a personal perspective, it's been so gratifying to work at places like Sempra Renewables, where we built several gigawatts of wind and solar plants that were in most cases replacing dirtier coal-fired power plants, and working at SDG&E, where close to 40% of our energy comes from renewable sources, and we are a leader in EV charging infrastructure and smart grid technology. So Lisa, as Chief Sustainability Officer, I imagine you reflect on the ideas behind Earth Day quite often. What are you thinking about this Earth Day?
Well, you're so right about that. And, I've been reflecting on my childhood too, actually. So, Earth Day was conceived at a UNESCO meeting in San Francisco back in 1969. And you indicated that early 70s date for when everyone started observing it. And while that set off a global movement, for me, it was a lot closer to home. Following that first Earth Day, the city of San Francisco, and I grew up right near there, embarked on a decade-long greening program. And my dad was a landscaper. So he was responsible for planting the very first trees on Market Street. And he helped create a number of parks in areas like Hunters Point and other neighborhoods that at the time didn't have access to a lot of resources. So I grew up on job sites and having my dad come home every night smelling of earth. And to this day, that's one of my favorite smells. So when I think of Earth Day, it reminds me of my pride in my dad and how, as an immigrant to this country, the impact he was able to make right off the bat towards the environment in our own hometown. And so today, Kevin, I feel so fortunate to work for Sempra. And like so many others throughout our company, we're reflecting on the impact each of us can make on our world, including our company's role in shaping a net zero future so that future generations can continue to enjoy a healthy planet like we've had the privilege of doing. So at Sempra, climate is central to our business strategy, as you've noted. We've been on a path to decarbonize for decades. And it's really exciting to see all our companies making huge continued strides in this area. So last month, SoCalGas, which is the largest gas utility in the US, announced the company's bold commitment to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions in its operations and for the customers it serves by 2045. And this week, SDG&E announced its own commitment to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions in its operations and for all the customers it serves by 2045. So both of these goals are so exciting, and they're such a critical piece of Sempra's overall climate goals, which are in line with the Paris Agreement and underpin our business strategy.
It's been exciting to be on this journey with our operating companies. I think some may be wondering how our companies will get there.
It's a great question, Kevin. So when we look at these goals, we know that there's a lot that we don't know, but we believe there are three key capabilities that we can invest in today that will position us with real strength to deliver on the net zero future. And those are what we call the 3Ds: decarbonization, diversification, and digitalization of our energy systems. And I want to extend a sincere thank you to our 19,000 employees from California to Texas, Louisiana, and Mexico and beyond, who really dedicate themselves to operating with an eye towards safety and sustainability every day. So Kevin, each of our operating companies has many ways of recognizing Earth Day. What are some of the ways our employees can get involved directly?
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, we've got a wide variety of volunteer opportunities for employees to get involved with to celebrate Earth Day. Whether it's cleanups around your neighborhood or planting trees across the communities we serve, I'm so proud to be a part of an employee culture committed to giving back. I remember for my family, when my kids were little, the beach cleanup days were a great way to give back, but also a great family outing and kind of a get together. So I always look forward to those, and I don't know if my kids did, but I sure had fun. Lisa, the great thing about SEMPR is our power to positively impact the communities we serve. So recently, SEMPR donated $2 million to the Salk Institute of Biological Studies, a leading biological research lab located here in San Diego. I've been involved with this initiative. We call it the Harnessing Plants Initiative, where we're the lead sponsor. And it's really all about developing plants so they can capture and store more carbon in the soil. So even after the plant dies and the roots die, the carbon stays in the soil. And like I said, we've been a lead sponsor in one of their projects, looking at how we can do that with sorghum. So it's really exciting, and it's something that can move the needle not only for the communities we serve, really, but for the entire Earth, right? If it works, it'll make a big difference, that we believe, in reducing the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere and helping to restore that balance. So I'm super excited about that. So as individual employees, we can make a difference, and as a company, we can do that too. So I find that really gratifying.
Yeah, and Kevin, one thing I really appreciate about your leadership is your passion, and also how you lean into challenges. And I think your involvement on the advisory board of Salk has really allowed us to step up and help make a really meaningful impact. And I think it's a great reminder of how Earth Day isn't just about one day. It's about how we live and how we pull the values of Earth Day through to all of our commitments, both as people and as companies. So we're certainly dependent on one another to shape a healthy and vibrant world. So I really want to take a moment to say that I am so looking forward to the launch of Sempra Energy's Corporate Sustainability Report next week. We're going to share key stats and figures on our climate achievements, as well as more details on where the company is headed as we continue to focus on driving sustainable value. And I encourage all of our employees, customers, shareholders, partners, and others to keep an eye out for our report. We're really proud of our story. So Kevin, thank you so much for joining me today in observance of Earth Day.
Great to be here, Lisa, and it's been a pleasure to join you. Happy Earth Day, everyone.